Gold is still very, very strong, dominating the market, but just taking a little bit of a breather. The S&P 500 doesn't know quite what to do. Is it going to go down? Is it going to go sideways? Is it going to go up? I think today will tell us what type of picture it's going to paint. But right now it looks like it's possibly going to go down a little bit more. The UK 100 looks even more likely to go down a little bit more. The Bitcoin price is also a little bit unsure, but it seems like it's going to converge on a specific price over the coming days as we roll towards the halving date in the next couple of weeks. With that said, if you are new to trading, if you are new to Bitcoin and someone has literally just told you about the Bitcoin price and investing in Bitcoin or hedging against inflation in Bitcoin, etc., etc., and you want some more information about whether you should or shouldn't get into Bitcoin, my name's David Thorne and I make Bitcoin price analysis videos at least once a day, talking about my own portfolio or the money from my wife and I, our own portfolio when we invest into Bitcoin and in other stocks and other shares and so on. So if you do want a little bit of support about whether you should or shouldn't invest into stocks, then just remember I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a professional trader. Like I said, I'm just a person sat in front of a monitor, talking to a microphone, making videos, publishing on YouTube about my own investments. So, but you are more than welcome to watch and listen in. Now, as I show you on the screen, there is a whole playlist here of the previous Bitcoin price analysis videos. So if you have missed anything or you want to go back and see what I said about them in the past, then please feel free to come and visit my channel and look at them. And then whilst you're there, you could also obviously then subscribe so you get notified of any new videos that I make, and naturally don't forget to smash that like button, because I do make these videos for free. I make them for myself, but I also make them for the benefit of other people, so that at least they've got some other kind of like confirmation of what other people are thinking. But you should always make your own decisions. It should always ultimately be your own decisions, and sometimes you shouldn't really listen to other people when making investments, because it ultimately should be about your decision. Before we start looking at the Bitcoin price, I just want to talk to you about my DJ Thorne Trading Indicators Pine script that I've got here on my GitHub repository. All you're going to do is come over here and literally copy and paste all of this code here, and you don't have to know what it does. Come over to the Pine editor on TradingView, and then just literally just copy and paste it in here, and then tap add to chart, and you will see the same type of thing that I've got on the screen right now. Basically it means that you don't have to pay for any TradingView subscription, but you can still get the benefit of multiple trading indicators rather than having to add them on and be limited to 2. Okay, it's free. I don't charge you anything whatsoever, and you can use it all you want. All right, but if you do use it, just do write in the comment section below, just saying thanks for the trading for the code. Okay, with that all out the way now, let's jump straight into what we actually came to talk about. So one of the main indicators that I look at in the morning before checking anything out is I look at always the fear and greed index on CNN Business, and as you can see here right now, it's neutral. Now it's been extreme greed for a long time, right, and it moved into greed very shortly, and now it's into neutral. Okay, now there's a whole bunch of reasons why this is happening, but you should just remember that the market seems to be cooling off right now. So this is a really good indicator to say, okay, it could be just taking a breather and then going back to be really bullish once again, or the market is unsure what's going to happen, and it could start moving to fear and extreme fear. And we know that if it goes into fear, it doesn't stay very long, and then it moves into extreme fear really quickly. All right, so this is time now to start being a little bit more cautious about what you're going to do. With that said, when we go over to the Bitcoin or the cryptocurrency fear and greed index, you can see here we are still on extreme greed. And when we come over to the year projection here, you can see we are still high, and the question is, are we going to make a new high, or is this going to come down and follow suit and go to neutral and or fear and or fear, anger, extreme fear? So just take caution in what I've got to say today, because it could be the tables are turning. It could be, we don't know. That's only time can tell. This is obviously, this doesn't have, we don't have a crystal ball to know what's going to happen. So we have to be cautious here. And this is the whole point of being a contrarian, all right? We need to go with the market, but we also need to be a contrarian to be ready if the market decides it wants to change direction. So now that this is a really important thing, right? Rather than looking at the price of Bitcoin, because really the price of Bitcoin should come second, all right, and all the technical analysis should come third. First of all, you need to look at the whole market itself and what the market is trying to do, because if the sentiment and of people is completely opposite to what you think it is, then you need to go with the market, right? And so don't care about what the price is. First of all, determine what the market is and do your research first. Now, we can see that from looking at the gold, we can see that we've got this upwards motion, this very bullish upwards motion. And there are other reasons for that. But right now, if we just look at that, we know this upwards motion. But we can see here we've got this consistent upward motion on the S&P 500. And there needs to be a small correction. And yes, this is the biggest correction that it's had in a long time. So the question is this going to go even further? And this is the first time that the 5, the 8 and or the 15 have crossed over the 50 in a while. So we need to be a little bit cautious on this to see what the next events will be. But don't have fear, just be cautious. So the UK 100, we can see that it has had these corrections here. It's had a possible correction like here. So we can see that if it is going to continue with a correction, right, it could just bounce back up again. And we see that it kind of comes down to the 50 and either simmers around by the 50 and then goes back up again, or comes below the 200, 300 and then moves back up again. So we need to be slightly cautious about these things. Now, yes, when we come over to Bitcoin now, we see that it kind of converging, and I don't like drawing these flags, but I just want to show you what I'm talking about converging. It's kind of converging around this area, which would be about the 13th, 14th, 15th of April. Now, another key point that I want to start talking about is then the Bitcoin halving, which is in 15 days. And this is really pertinent to talking about this. So at the moment we have the 7th or the 5th here. So we're talking about around about the 20th. So we could just move this to say the 21st and say here that the likelihood is it could be just converging because of the Bitcoin halving. No one quite knows whether it's going to go up or whether it's going to go down. But what we do seem to know right now is it seems to be going sideways. Now, yesterday we obviously came down and we came back up again. Sorry, we were down, and it caught me by surprise yesterday, to be quite honest with you, because I was on the assumption that we were going to go further down, but I was cautious for it and I was ready for it if it happened. But then it just kind of went in the opposite direction. Now, is this a stable thing? Is it going to continue? We saw the 5, the 8, and the 15. Try and look like they maybe want to drop beneath. So the 5 and the 8 look like they wanted to drop beneath the 15, but right now we still see this downward motion from the average prices, because we're following the market, not just the individual candles. We still have a downward motion here, but we have an overall upward motion here. But you can see that I want to get rid of these things before we start reading into some flags. But we can see that the overall speed of the market is now on a negative slope. So if we come to just the trend, the EMAs here, you can see we are now not on a zero slope. We're now on a negative slope here. And if we come to the other one, the 8, we can see that we're still on an upward slope. And if we come to then the 15, we can see we're on an upward slope still. So we still do have 2 out of the 3 here that's on a positive slope. You need to take this into account, is that what's the momentum of the market? What's the sentiment? What's the direction of the market right now? And we can see that the market currently is sideways. So we shouldn't be planning too much. And I think it's really important that we get this understanding at a higher level today of what our reasoning is when we go down to the smaller time frames, because if we see there are equal possibilities of sideways, up and down here, and that's why we have to think about this when we go further into it. So when we go down into the 4-hour time frame, we are still seeing that overall upwards trend, right? But the let's just look at the 50. The 50 looks kind of like it's still making a slightly upward trend, but the slope is nearly close to zero. So we're saying we are literally going sideways here when it comes down to that. Now, are we going to see some more movement up to the top here to test these one targets? So really the range that we're talking about, because if we're assuming we are going sideways, then this is a possible range, or we've got the upper boundaries is obviously then at 67,467 here, and then the lower range is here, then the super lower range is down here at 48,500. So are we going to see today prices come and test this upper boundary, or are we going to come and see them test the lower boundary? Or are we just going to see it come and sit in the middle as well? So is there enough momentum to move it outside of this middle area, or is it just going to simmer here for the whole day? Let's have a look at the hour range, the hour time frame, sorry. So now we can see that we've got this lower range here, which it's tested a couple of times. So there's wicked out down here a couple of times. And we've got that big red candle, but we can now see that it's kind of come back and refilled or balanced at least half of the prices here. And this big candle here, it's kind of balanced all of this, and it seems to have balanced a lot of it in the middle, but we still have these two wicks that kind of need to be balanced up the top. And we have these zones down here that need to be balanced too. So I would assume that the price probably is going to come and try and balance this down here before it starts moving anywhere. And so we could possibly see that this is our range for the coming maybe few hours or today. I mean, it's only 6:45 in the morning, so we still have got the European market to wake up, and also in the London market to wake up as well. And Asia is currently still on its final parts of trading. So we could see that this might just be a rejection of the 200 to 300 and come back down again below the 50. But let's move into the 30-minute time frame. Right now, it looks like it's trying to test this level, this support level, and I would assume that it's going to break through this to come back down to this say green candle here and test this zone, because this area looks pretty much balanced. So yeah, I would expect it test this blue candle here first of all, and then if it can break it through, it would test this imbalanced zone here, and then after that, if we get a bounce going back up again, that could happen. But the how it deals with these two candles here will paint the picture of how it's going to go further on. If it goes through relatively weak or fast through it, or this candle is weak zone, then we would expect it to come and test this zone here. And if this zone has got no buyers around it, then we would expect it to come and test this bottom. So really the question is where are the buyers? If there are no buyers around here, then we should expect that the buyers are down here, because we've seen lots of buying around this one area. So this is where the potential buyers are. Now, we can also assume on the other note that we know that there's sellers up here, but are they going to be selling here, or are they going to be expecting to sell up here? So if we do see the opposite here and a rebound, we should assume that there's probably no sellers around this area. And I would say that they are either at like 65,000 or they're all waiting at 66,000. So there should be probably more than likely a very quick, easy movement up again, because we can see where the sellers are going to be sitting. They're not going to be sitting here. They're going to be sitting up here. You know, it's quite clear that it's going to come and push through this. But right now it's got to balance the tables down here, because it looks like it wants to make lower prices. It looks like it wants to make lower prices to me. So let's keep digging down. Yeah, I think it's saying the same thing. It's tried it once, it's tried it twice. The selling pressure is getting stronger and stronger, and the question is, when will the buyers stop buying here, and that will then allow them to push through this area. And now, if there is a huge amount of buying coming in and then the selling stops, then we'll see the price zoom back up. But the question is who is still persistent here? If the sellers stay persistent, right, but the buyers give in, then we'll see the price come down really fast. But if the sellers give up and the buyers they take control here, then we can see the price zoom fast, because if there's no one selling around here, the price has to push through to higher points to find the sellers once again. So, but we can see that we're not really getting much volume here. Because of these light red candles. We need to see red candles, or we need to see at least like purple or maroon candles, or so we need to see green or blue candles for buying pressure, and we need to see red or like purple candles or maroon candles for selling pressure, the overall selling pressure. So right now I think, you know, this we'll see this over the next hour, or at least until when the London market opens, what that story is, and whether it was the sellers that were there or the buyers were there. So let's keep moving down. We can see a red candle there, so we can see high volume. So we can see lots of selling pressure there, but we can see lots of selling pressure here as well. So the selling is very strong. Like I said, we just need to see whether or not the buyers give up buying. And if the buyers do give up buying, then the price will drop really quickly. All right. And I think we'll just be repeating ourselves, because this is still confirming it. The 5, the 8 and the 15 are below the 50. And they're trying to cross the 200 right now. So if they do successfully cross, that will suck the 50 down, and more than likely then push the prices to this white area here. And then we've already said this, that test these zones, because if there is liquidity there, then the market is going to find it. We know there was fast movement through this one as well. We can speculate all we want, but right now the market is trying to tell us that it wants to go down, and there's lots of selling pressure on this. Whether someone comes in with lots and lots of buying pressure and buys all of this selling force up, and then just literally just removes any selling pressure, then the price will just zoom back up again. But we don't have a crystal ball. We don't know this until it's finished. Let's quickly look at the minute market. And it's the minute market. Well, it's telling us right now that all these markers are telling us that it's oversold. So the likelihood is that it's gonna possibly have a quick reversal here up to the 200 once again. But we need to see. We saw a red candle here. We need to see this quick upward movement to show there is some power to turn it around again. But right now, I think it's too early to look for a big movement. We need 8 o'clock, we need 9 o'clock to see that. With that said, I just want to. I haven't talked about this for a while now. If you are still watching and you are new to the market, I want to explain to you my philosophy, because this is, for me, is what's more important. The overall philosophy that I have when thinking about trading. Okay, and it might sound silly, but you buy low and sell high. You know, it's easy as that. Well, it is kind of easy as that. But you've got to be a contrarian, right? But there's a time and a place for being a contrarian, and contrarians are all about being the opposite of what the market does, be the opposite of what the other people do. Now, at the bottom, when everyone else has got fear or extreme fear, when they go, no, don't buy, this is the time when you've got to have lots of faith in yourself and do your research and go, okay, there's value in this, and this is super oversold. which means you are buying something at a super discount, and this would be down here. Now, right now, you need to answer the question to yourself: is this overbought? Now, if the market is telling you that I've still got room to go back up and I want to go up to here, then listen to the market. Just because you assume it's oversold, or overbought, sorry, oversold, overbought. If you assume that it's overbought, and the market is telling you one other thing, then you need to go with the market, right? You can have this thought in the back of your head saying, okay, I believe it's overbought, but the market says it wants to keep going further, so let's go with you, all right? Agree and commit. Let's go with the market. And every single time you see a possible correction, you go, okay, is this now the top? But you shouldn't try and time the top, because it's speculation, right? And that is close to gambling. You want the market to tell you what direction it is going. And that's kind of like what the UK 100 is telling us here right now. It's saying, hey, I was overbought up here. I'm coming down, right? There's no volume here, really. So it could be that I'm just taking a quick breather and going back up again. For the market to tell us that it is actually going to make a correction, would want to see a lot more correction. We would want to see the sentiment, the sentiment of the other people saying that they believe this too. So when the rest of the market starts agreeing with what the market does, then you know that the herd is getting behind what the market is trying to tell you. And so this is my point, is that the market is the master, right? But when the herd decides to change direction, then go with them. Don't go against the flow of the river, right? Sail with the wind. It's far easier. But when you see more and more people asking questions, and more people maybe slowing down and trying to look for other paths, this is the point where you start need to notice in these things and think, okay, I'm going to be ready to move with the herd, right? But don't be the first person. The scout at the front is normally the person who gets hurt first. So just be the person that sits back quite carefully, quite happily, and just lets the people in front get hurt by the falling rocks or whatever first, and then you can just walk through once all of the collateral damage has been done, and just have a nice safe way through to sunnier horizons and so on. With that all out the way now, thank you very much for watching. Like I said, my name is David Thorne, and you are watching Thorne Web Design. What previously was Thorne Website, it's now David's Videos. And if you do see other videos posted by me about programming or anything like that, then feel free to watch them. But if you're just here for my Bitcoin price analysis videos, then you'll see the explicit difference in the thumbnails. It all got Bitcoin in it. So if you do see one of these other videos just popping up, just scroll by. You know, that's my channel is all about providing lots of different videos for lots of different things. And as you can see here, I've got videos about loads of different stuff because it's my channel and that's what I like to do. So with that said, all out the way now, thank you very much for watching. I may make a video tomorrow, this afternoon, about the markets if we see some form of like different movement. But if we just see like sideways motion, then I won't be making another video today. All right. So stay safe, trade without emotions, do your own research. All right, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you then, and bye bye.